NBA fans, welcome back, alright? If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe because I got some brand new content coming out every single day. If you like consistent content, then, this is the face that you want to start to get to recognize, alright? Let me cut to the intro and get right to it. So today's another episode, of 30 teams in 30 days, all right? I'm on day like 6 or 7, want to say like 7. I'm on the Denver Nuggets, all right? The Denver Nuggets are such an exciting team, first of all. The bubble that came back from 2-3-1 series down to win, to go to the conference finals. I mean, this team is young, it's exciting, it has a great big man and a great guard that runs a better pick and roll maybe than any other duo in the NBA. The Denver Nuggets are exciting, so let's just get right into it. And if you're new to this series, let me explain it to you real quick. I'm going to break down a couple of things, and then I'm going to grade a couple of things. I'm going to break down their draft. I'm going to talk about it, how I see it was for them, and then I'm going to grade it. I'm going to do the same thing for free agency, and then I'm going to talk about their rotation, their roster, kind of break it down a little bit to what I expect, all right? Then I'm going to go 3 remaining questions that are going to be asked about this team for the next coming year, and I'm going to overall grade their offseason, explain why, and then give you a little projection of where I see this team finishing next year in the standings. So let's just get right into it. In the draft, they had the 22nd pick. They 22nd and 24. They got Zeke Naji, who I had going in the first round to the Toronto Raptors, who's a big man. The kid maybe isn't the most polished player right now, but he is a definition of a Denver Nugget project. And I like this kid because he's talented, he's long, his wingspan's crazy, he can shoot it a little bit, and he can dribble pretty well for being 139 feet tall. I like him. I think he's a high upside pick at 22. I gave that's a good move. Then they drafted RJ Hampton, who I did not see slipping past like 18 in my mock. I like RJ Hampton. I think what's interesting about him is he just didn't get that spotlight that LaMelo did when they both went overseas this past year. RJ Hampton was a top 5 high school prospect, top 5 high school recruit, and the kid is really good. But again, you know, he's a high ceiling type of player who just right now isn't NBA ready. Personally, I don't think so. So, I mean, I gave this Denver Nuggets draft a B+. I think it's both high upside picks. I think they're both going into really good situations and environments for them to thrive and grow as NBA players. So I'm excited to see RJ Hampton and Zeke Naji just be good. You know what I mean? Free agency came along, and they did a lot more losing than they did adding. They lost Jeremy Grant, albeit to a humongous contract, who I would not have signed him for, because Detroit what is Detroit doing? So they lost Jeremy Grant, they lost Mason Plumlee, who went to Detroit too, because who knows? I think Detroit's next, so I can't wait to talk about them. And then they lost Torrey Craig. Now, it may not be the flashiest of guys they lost, but they all did something, and did something very well for this team. Torrey Craig is a very, very good defender, and at times can hit shots from 3, but I mean, he's not expected to. He knows his role. He's a clamp defender. He's a lockdown D type of guy that can just exert all of his energy on the defensive end. And now I don't know where they're necessarily going to get that. Jeremy Grant is another really good high energy guy. Good rebounder, shot the ball really, really well. I mean, he had a really good season for Denver, and that's probably why he went for 20+ mil. I like Jeremy Grant. Sixers traded him for Ersan Ilyasova, I think it was, back in the day. And, you know, hindsight 2020, probably not the greatest move for Philadelphia basketball. Anyway, so they signed Facundo Campazzo from, I mean, he's playing in the EuroLeague. I mean, he's Italian, obviously. But Facundo Campazzo is crazy handles, bro. Like, that dude is he's that tall, and he just, it kind of reminds me of a Ricky Rubio type player. I'm interested to see how he plays in the NBA. I'm expecting him to get time. I think he's going to be okay. Ironically enough, I've seen a lot of YouTube videos about him made months ago, saying he's the best point guard in the world that isn't in the NBA, which is interesting. I mean, that was very interesting to me. So we'll see. I think it's a strange pickup given the fact that they have Monte Morris as a backup already, and he is really good. But we'll see. Well, you know what I mean? We'll see. And they added JaMychal Green. I like JaMychal Green. I think maybe he can fit a role that Jeremy Grant left. He's a good corner three-point shooter. He's a type of dog, that every team really needs. And, I mean, that's cool. It's a good addition to a playoff team. I like that. I gave their free agency a C+. I think they could have done more, maybe. I mean, they re-signed Paul Millsap, too, to a one-year deal. But to be a really good contending team right now in the West, I don't know if they did enough in free agency to get over a hump. Right? So their roster right now is looking like Jamal Murray at the 1, Gary Harris at the 2, Michael Porter Jr. at the 3, Paul Millsap at the 4, and then, of course, Joker, Nikola Jokic at the 5. The starting 5 is impressive, right? It's really impressive. Depending on how far Paul Millsap can fall off is a big question. Gary Harris, can he stay healthy at all? That's another question. But their bench is going to be like Will Barton, Monty Morris, Facundo Campazzo, JaMychal Green, Bol, maybe he's going to be something, Zeke Naji, and RJ Hampton. I would expect some of those guys to get minutes. I don't think Denver's as deep as they were last year. I think Mason Plumlee was underrated. I think he was a good passer from the 5. I mean, don't get me wrong, he wasn't worth the contract that Detroit gave him. So if I'm Denver, what are you going to do about it? You got to let him walk. But I'm interested to see some of these guys because it's kind of a newer look bench for him, and it's going to be interesting. So the 3 questions I have remaining, number 1, burning on my brain, is Bubble Murray going to continue? Or is it just a fluke? You know what I mean? Because holy shit, Jamal Murray was a top 10 player in the NBA when he was in the bubble. Now, you don't know. You don't know if he can sustain that type of insane play for an entire year, but you gotta wonder if that is something to expect. If that's something we should expect from now on, Denver is unreal. Denver is scary as all hell because, wow, Jamal Murray was out of this world talented. So that's a question, man. I don't think he's going to be obviously as good as he was in the bubble, but I think he is progressing. I think he progressed. So we'll see. Did they really do enough this offseason to get over the hump? Personally, I don't think so. I really do like this team, and I think running it back is not a bad decision that they're making, but at the same time, I think they lost a little depth. You see the Lakers got a lot better while keeping the same core, basically. I think they're better than the Clippers, but I think there's a very good argument to be made for the other way around. So it's a question mark for me. Denver is a very big what to expect team next year. And then question number 3 is this the year for Denver? They have been close, and they've gotten closer each year, and they're young, but now they're starting to reach their prime, and Jokic is another animal in the playoffs. That dude's a stud, as much as I don't like to admit it. He's really, really good. He is the best passing center I've ever seen in my life. He's one of the most interesting players that I've seen, and if he can continue to shoot well from 3, that is going to expand his game and expand that offense to an entirely new level. Jamal Murray, if he can produce as an ISO fourth quarter scorer, that's going to be so hard to beat for any team for a 7-game series. And I could genuinely see Denver being a really, really tough team to beat in this upcoming playoffs. So overall, I'll give them a B+. I don't necessarily think they got better, but at the same time, they're running it back with a really, really good core, and you could expect Michael Porter Jr. if Michael Porter Jr. is such an X factor for this team, if he can take a next level scoring step and play any defense at all, like if you could get 18, 19, 20 a game from MPJ, this Nuggets team is a top 2 team in the West. If Bol can produce and play maybe and do something, this team's a top 2 team in the West. I think a lot of it carries on Porter Jr.'s shoulders, which is interesting. But I like him. I think he's really, really talented. I think he's a cocky scorer, and there's something to be said about that. So a B+. They didn't necessarily get any better, but progression could really be on their side. And I see Denver as a top 3 team in the West. I have a hard time seeing them fall past 3, fall past 4. So until next time, I'm making a Joel Embiid video later today. I'm not even gonna just hint towards another video. I'm just gonna say Embiid video later today. I love that man. I haven't showed him enough love on my channel, so it's now time for me to just show my love to Joel Embiid. So peace out. Like and subscribe to the channel. I am that close to 200 subscribers. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So, come on, show me some love, get me there. Until next time, go Sixers.